Hi, welcome back to the Top 5 Stories of the Week. I'm Daily Herald Managing Editor, back after a week home for Christmas in Manitoba. Thanks to Tyler Clark for taking care of the top 5 last week. Let's get right at her. Story number 5 was actually one of our recaps. We did monthly recaps for the last 12 papers of the year. A lot of work doing them because you're going through every paper that we published all year. So there's 3 people that made those happen. So Maris Landers, Eric Bell, and Kristen Buchert. Thanks for your work on that. And interestingly enough, the 5 that went up in the last week were all in the top 20, so they were well read. Number 4, a PA fella has kind of thrown his lot in on an invention that sounds really promising. It's called the Magno plug. The deal is that he got in with a fella named Arash Janfata, or AJ, Saskatoon. And what this thing is, for instance, with your car, we've all done the thing where we've driven away with it plugged in and either it rips the cord right out or we've got a cord trailing down the road with us. Anyway, this thing is kind of built on a magnet, so if you drove away, it would just sort of snap off. Sounds super handy, so they're just working on that right now. He calls it a 3-pad connector, and the pads connect through a magnet system. So, kind of neat. Story number 3. It is Brock Longworth, who has been named one of the elite top 30 brokers by the Insurance Business Canada, who ranked him 8th. Kind of neat. He works for his dad Tim over at Cornerstone Insurance Services, which Tim bought with Don DeLorme back in 2001. Brock is a Carleton grad, went to U of S for a while, is now back in business and obviously doing very, very well. Top 2 stories of the week both involve Victoria Hospital. Number 2 sort of stems from a story that we did with Premier Brad Wall prior to Christmas, when he was talking about how a new Victoria hospital is a priority for the government. So those were words that we'd never heard before, so obviously there's a lot of excitement about that. But now that it's more of a how and when rather than an if, Tyler Clark wrote a story about what may be coming there. And Doug Dahl, who's a communications officer for the RHA, said that there's patients in non-traditional rooms. They're not putting folks in hallways, but they're putting them in the solarium and stuff like that. And an example of how that hospital is really being stretched now is that the obstetrics unit, was built to deliver 1,000 babies a year and is delivering 1,500. So that's good news for us here in PA. The number 1 story of the week running away was about the closure of the hospital canteen. It's a neat PA story about how 60 years ago the Leaderhouse family took this over, the operation of it. They went from different locations, ended up with the Vic Hospital where it is now, but it just has become a little too heavy a burden for them. But just think that this family has been doing this since 1953. Phil, who is kind of the family patriarch who put this project together, passed back in 1991. Kids helped. So wonderful, wonderful story. Anyway, that's our top 5 of the week. You know where to find us around town. Hard copy, Facebook, Twitter, we're all over the place. But we remain on paper like a newspaper should be. See you next week.